and another one, another one, another one, another one. Hi everyone, welcome to 16 Figure Focus, and in this video we're going to take a quick look at the Hot Toys Tony Stark Mark VII Suit Up version 1/6 scale collectible figure. Apologies if there's some bad audio here. There's some people cutting grass outside, so if the audio gets a little choppy, I do apologize, but I'll do my best. Hopefully it doesn't come through as much. So yeah, so this is the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Tony Stark Mark VII Suit Up version. Now in fairness, the MCU has some fantastic suit ups. I mean, when I think of like really good Iron Man suit ups, this one definitely comes to mind as one of the best. I think my favorite would probably be the Mark V suit up, on the Formula 1 racing track from the suitcase. Plus I really like the design of the Mark V, which I thought that scene was quite good. And also the suitcase is a throwback to its origins in the comic books. Apart from that then, the gantry for the Mark VI, and of course the original gantry, one of the best suit ups because it was a really slow built up suit up. You did it first the Mark II, the silver version, but then I felt when they had the final, Mark III with the hot rod red and gold, the gantry was a nice slow suit up because it was the first time we ever saw, that real life, real world, I suppose, Tony Stark and Iron Man on the cinema as opposed to like a cartoon or on the pages of a comic book. Yeah, but this particular suit up, fantastic suit up, great scene from one of the best MCU movies, and it was the first Avengers, of course, 2012 movie. So I love the suit up, I love the scene, I like that you get in a casual RDJ, but let's just talk about the elephant in the room first. We'll just flick through and take a look at the sculpt. Hot Toys have done numerous Iron Mans at this stage, and more accurately, numerous MCU Robert Downey Jr. Likenesses and figures at this stage. They are quite good at RDJ. For example, the Battle Damage Mark 85, great likeness. I've got the Mark 6, the original, not the original, the die-cast one behind me, not the new one obviously because it hasn't come out yet, but even though you just see you take off the faceplate because he didn't have nanotech, you can totally tell that that is Robert Downey Jr. under there. I think it's quite a strong sculpt even though you just see this section of his face. Battle Damage Mark 85 is fantastic. I think the Mark 47 is fantastic, and there's numerous other ones as well. With this here, I feel that Hot Toys lately, they're either giving us these mind-blowing sculpts that are just like, 9s or 10s out of 10. For example, that old indie that they announced and put up for pre-order recently. Straight away you go, I know exactly who it is. You could say the same thing about the releases recently, Fennec Shand, and Cosco Reeves. Super likenesses, really strong stuff. But then I feel that there's some that are like, oh, it's nearly there, but there's something amiss. And I feel that this is nearly there, but it's just something amiss. I think perhaps it's the open mouth, something to do with that. Because I look at this and I do see Robert Downey Jr. and I know what scene they're looking for, but I just think there's something a little bit miss. I think it's maybe around the jaw, and maybe that's because the mouth is open, possibly. But look, I'd love to say hopefully the real product will turn out better than the prototype, but to be honest, the times that the actual product is better than the Hot Toys prototype, they're kind of outliers. It happens from time to time. We've seen it with Killmonger. I think there was a Ray figure as well, but typically you get what's a prototype or you get maybe a slight downgrade. Anyway, let's just flick through some of this because I think out of all the Iron Man suit ups, if I had to get one, this might be one that I potentially get. I'm not going to pick it up because I'm not like the biggest Iron Man collector at the moment. I think I even have too many different Iron Mans. The Mark 6 is my favorite. It's up there, powered up with a fusion reactor. It's the die-cast one. Can't rule out getting that new one because the gantry is just calling to me, but at the moment I'm going to say no, but I reserve the right to change my mind on that. I've got the Battle Damage Mark 85, which is a super piece. The Mark 47 because, well, I really like Homecoming. I really like that gunmetal suit. Didn't like it originally. Well, I didn't say I didn't like it originally. I thought it was solid, but a bit unusual, and then it actually grew on me, and I really liked that particular suit. Great head sculpt too. Sorry, that is really loud out there, so if this is disturbing the audio, I do apologize. Right, so obviously he's talking to Loki. I think like Loki throws him out the window, and he's got these bracelets on, and obviously they're like electronic, and they communicate to this capsule which comes out of Stark Tower, fires down, goes behind him, and kind of transforms into the Mark 7, wraps around him. And in fairness, the Mark 7 suit is one of the better suits. Yeah, I'm interested to see on this now. It's great that you have the casual version, just him in a t-shirt and jeans. Now, The thing about the t-shirt is that's supposed to be a Black Sabbath t-shirt. It's supposed to say Black Sabbath over it, and I think they may have changed the design here on the shirt, but they've definitely omitted the Black Sabbath logo because of licensing issue. But I would imagine it's only a matter of time for like customizers go and make these, and if you really want the band name there, which to be honest, if I was picking this up, I would. I'd imagine that's not going to be too hard to pick up. I would say within the next few weeks or months, you're going to see them maybe posted on 1/6 Kit or something like that. So this it's interesting here. You get the regular casual Tony Stark, like I said, in jeans and t-shirts, and then you can pose it like this with it kind of wrapping around, and then of course you can do it just as if it's coming from behind him. So there seems to be a few different posing options, which suggests to me that these parts are either you can clip them on separately, or maybe it's a whole piece and it's articulated and can wrap around them. I'd imagine it will clip on at certain points in the body, kind of like the Suit Up Mark V. However, I have heard horror stories about the Suit Up Mark V being extremely hard to clip the parts on, and you clip one part off and another part falls off. There's people reported that they've actually broken theirs when they're setting it up, and also the pieces are pinching into the suit, of course, that racing suit that he was famously wearing in that scene from Iron Man 2. But look, I really like the idea of this. This here, I was on the Hope Show episode 10 last night on my channel with Trevor from the 1/6 Shooter, or Trevor the 1/6 Shooter, and he saw this and he kind of laughed and he kind of said there's no way that's going to be able to support it like that. It depends, I think. If this is die cast, that's probably going to be a struggle, but I suppose it depends on the center of gravity and how well you manipulate that dynamic stand. But I'd be more concerned with, like, how is it going to grab it even? You know, where are they attaching that to? Is that a bit of Photoshop trickery, or is there a point where you can actually attach this? Because there seems to be a lot of little intricate parts here that could potentially break on this. Like if you look here, like look at that part there. I presume that's just plastic. That's a tiny little intricate part. Seems to be another one there. Like these little you have the panels, and then you've got these little parts that kind of like little articulated pieces that come out and, you know, control the panels. I'm saying articulated because that's how it worked in the movie. I'm not sure if these little pieces are going to be articulated or they just clip on. You can swap out different parts for different stages, perhaps, as opposed to the whole thing being one. I doubt the whole thing is one piece that articulates around them. I'd imagine you have the option to clip things in or clip things out or on or off. Yeah, so this is like just before the Mark 7 suit actually grabs him by the back and then wraps around him. You can see that it's already attached to these kind of bracelets with some sort of transponder or tracking system that he had. Just reminding me of how good this particular scene is. Yeah, so the head sculpt, yeah, here, like the head sculpt it's just missing the mark here for me now. The product overall, I think, is good, but just the head sculpt there, it's just around the jaw, the open mouth kind of throws me off a bit. You can tell who it's supposed to be, but I'd rate this maybe, it's definitely not a 10, 9 or an 8, I would say. I'd imagine probably I'd lean to more 6 than 7, to be honest. A few tweaks, it could be a lot stronger, but you could say that about a lot of sculpts. Now it looks like it has seamless forearms, but I do believe I've seen some wrist joints in other photos, but they're actually cleverly covered up by these two bracelets, which of course he was wearing when he was thrown out the window, and that's what communicated to the Mark 7 pod, which essentially launched and transformed and manipulated itself onto him. You can see the arc reactor there coming through the t-shirt, and of course t-shirt is missing the Black Sabbath logo or text. That looks better. Again, sometimes we shouldn't underestimate the power of the rolling eyes function. I mean, you move the eyeballs in one direction or another, completely changes the kind of look of the character, completely changes the kind of tone or the attitude or the mood of the character. Looks a bit better there too, but I still think it's the jaw. I think the forehead might be a bit too long as well. Let's take a quick look at everything this guy comes with. So it says 3 styles of display for suit up transformation. You've got it when it's more or less fully wrapped around him, just kind of, you know, just before it actually fully encases him and the helmet goes on and becomes a Mark 7. You've got the bit there where it's just caught him, I suppose, on mid-flight. So I'm starting from left to right here. The first one is where it's just clipped onto the bracelets and started to transform. Second one then is where it's kind of like, I suppose, it's latched onto him. It's kind of more or less the bottom half of him is encased and the t-shirt is still exposed and the head is still exposed. And then the third stage where it's supposed the stage just before it actually fully wraps around and encases him. Separate rolling eyeballs functions. It also has a casual wear look, of course, just 4 swap out hands, and that's a terrible base for yeah, those octagon bases, they just cheapen the look of, like, this doesn't look like a cheap piece, like, but the octagon bases, they're just not great. Yeah, look, overall, look, it's going to be a pass for me. I don't need every version of Iron Man. Like I mentioned already, I've got the quarter scale Mark III, the battle damage 85, the diecast Mark VI, the diecast Mark 47, and I'm waiting on that really, really stunning diecast Mark III. I think it's a 3.0 at this stage, or I think it's well, the second time they did it in diecast, I believe, because this one doesn't have a swap out torso piece. Strange design choice for that first diecast Mark III. Yeah, it's going to be a pass for me, but I do think it looks great. If they could fix that head sculpt, it would definitely elevate this. Look, great scene, great, one of the most iconic suit ups, and of course the Mark 7 is a fantastic piece as well. So if you have a Mark 7, maybe this is for you. That's the end of the video. So if you want to support the channel, please support the channel by clicking the like button or subscribing to the channel, and also leave a comment. Let me know if you're picking this up or not. You can also follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, or X, or whatever it's called now. That's the end of the video. See you in the next one. Good luck.